The first round of the Monster General Grand Competition in the imperial capital had come to an end. From several hundred monster generals, only 48 remained. Most had not suffered crushing defeats, rather they had won once and lost once, thereby losing their qualifications. While the monster generals were almost entirely unscathed, cultivators suffered heavy casualties. This had been from the very beginning, a merciless massacre of cultivators. As the morning sun illuminated the 10,000 jang-wide plaza, the 48 monster generals emerged from the gate of the land of monster spirits, their battle intent surging like that of ancient primordial beasts. The golden-armored man stood at the center of the arena and announced that the second round would not be combat, but the striking of the war monster drum, a sacred relic passed down from the era of the first monster emperor. Only those with overwhelming blood vitality could make it sound. 3 strikes marked a powerhouse, 6 strikes marked a peerless genius. This round would select only 10. The moment the announcement was made, the entire venue was shaken. Monster General Wu Sen stepped forward first, exhausting all his strength to strike the drum 4 times, barely retreating before his body collapsed. After him came Mo Fei, the #1 monster general of the past 300 years. Without adjusting his breath or hesitating in the slightest, he advanced step by step, striking the drum again and again. 6 thunderous beats shook the earth, sending the plaza into an uproar. Yet he did not stop. The 7th strike carried an aura of slaughter, shattering his armor and rocking his body. When the 8th strike fell, the entire heavenly monster county was shaken. Gravely injured, Mo Fei retreated amid deafening cheers. Mo Fei's helper then struck the drum 3 more times, 11 strikes in total. This result plunged all other monster generals into silence. To surpass him was virtually impossible. Just as morale sank, the golden-armored man's gaze turned icy as he pointed at a single figure. "You step forward." Wang Lin calmly walked out, his eyes sharp as lightning. "My name is not you. My name is Wang Lin." Killing intent burst forth in the golden-armored man's eyes. "Wang Lin, do you dare to wager with me?" "Say it," Wang Lin replied calmly. The golden-armored man sneered. "I wager you cannot strike even 5 times. Win and I will personally recommend you to the Monster Emperor. Lose and I will settle the matter of you injuring a monster general. If you do not dare, then get out of Heavenly Demon City." Discussion erupted throughout the stands. No one believed an outsider cultivator could pass the ultimate trial of the war monster drum. Wang Lin smiled faintly. "I do not need your recommendation, so you don't dare," the golden-armored man mocked. Wang Lin's voice turned ice-cold. "I want one of your arms." The entire plaza fell deathly silent. The golden-armored man laughed harshly. "If you strike more than 5 times, I'll give you 1 arm. 10 times, I'll give you both." Wang Lin did not respond. He walked unhurriedly toward the war monster drum. He did not stand at a distance, nor did he rely on palm force. Standing directly before it, he gently brushed the ancient monster hide stretched across its surface. A single punch fell. Boom. Without stopping, 4 more punches followed in near-perfect rhythm. 5 consecutive drum beats exploded outward. Savage shockwaves swept the plaza, the ground splitting apart, as countless spectators vomited blood and collapsed. Yet Wang Lin remained unmoved, not retreating a single step. The 7 heavenly marshals sprang to their feet simultaneously. The golden-armored man's face turned ashen. "You have lost," Wang Lin said coldly, turning to point at him. The golden-armored man snarled. "I said not more than 5. 5 does not count as a win." Wang Lin's gaze turned frigid. He turned back and struck again. Boom! The 6th drumbeat slammed directly into everyone's hearts. It did not stop there. Boom! The 7th strike rang out, shaking heaven and earth like a tidal wave. Even Mo Fei, who had once struck 8 times, had been forced back at this threshold. Wang Lin hovered in mid-air, his fist resting on the drum's surface. 7 strikes. The golden-armored man spoke heavily. "I will recommend you. I want an arm." The 8th strike detonated. The sound merged with heavenly Tao, might like the judgment of the heavens themselves. "I want one of your arms." The entire arena fell silent. No one dared to doubt him any longer. The 7 heavenly marshals all changed expression. Words become law. The golden-armored man took a deep breath and forced himself to calm down. "You are merely borrowing the drum's might. Strike 15 times, and I will sever my own arm. Fail and shut your mouth." Wang Lin no longer looked at him. His gaze rested solely on the war monster drum. Another punch fell. Boom. The 9th drumbeat echoed. The backlash surged like a flood, shattering 3,700 life imprints. Wang Lin was forced back 9 steps before he stabilized himself. The plaza was utterly silent. 9 strikes, far surpassing Mo Fei. From this moment onward, the name Wang Lin shook the entire heavenly monster county. Yet in his eyes, only the war monster drum remained. Within the backlash, he sensed a defiant, heaven-opposing will, arrogant, unyielding. All this time, he had used life imprints to resist defiance, yet had unknowingly resisted his own true heart as well. A strange light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. He stepped forward and placed his hand upon the drum. He did not strike. He only listened. High above, the heavenly marshal slowly opened his eyes. The indomitable aura within the war monster drum flowed into Wang Lin's body and dissipated. The golden-armored man raised his brows and sneered mockingly. Tricks and deception. Do you think merely touching the drum lets you strike 15 times? If that were true, wouldn't the servants who clean it daily all become peerless geniuses? Not only him, every heavenly marshal on the stands frowned. Yet Heavenly Marshal Yu spoke softly. This is not sensing, he is comprehending. At those words, the expressions of all the heavenly marshals darkened simultaneously. Mo Fei looked at Wang Lin, his eyes flickering with light. You sensed that aura as well. Wang Lin closed his eyes. An unyielding will surged within his body as his primordial spirit gradually merged with the war monster drum. The backlash cannot be resisted. It can only be assimilated. He opened his eyes and gently struck downward. Boom. The 10th drumbeat rang out. A violent backlash surged into his body like a raging torrent. Wang Lin voluntarily withdrew his life imprints, allowing the force to crash directly into him. Black sweat seeped from his pores as impurities were forcibly expelled, and the sensation of marrow cleansing spread throughout his entire body. He's using the drumbeats to cleanse his marrow. The heavenly marshals all changed expression. Yet Wang Lin's face quickly turned pale. He understood at once. This is not my Tao. It is the Tao of the war monster drum. A glimmer of light flashed in his eyes, then slowly transformed into loneliness and decay his own Tao. Another punch fell. Boom! The 11th drumbeat resounded. In an instant, an intent of profound sorrow swept across the plaza, engulfing even heavenly monster city itself. The drumbeat was like the zither music from that flower boat long ago, striking directly at the deepest memories of every listener. 700 years of solitary cultivation, Li Muwan's departure, the decaying path within the land of monster spirits. The drum transmitted the Tao. Sorrow entered intent. Intent shook the heavens. The entire venue fell silent. Many shed tears without even realizing it. For the first time, the heavenly marshal stood up, his eyes blazing as he stared at Wang Lin. Drumbeats transmitting intent. Heavenly Marshal Xuan sighed softly. Perhaps the one the monster emperor has been waiting for is him. When the reverberations finally faded, everyone awakened in shock, only to discover that their faces were soaked with tears. Wang Lin turned around, his gaze settled upon the golden-armored man. The man's face was deathly pale, staring at Wang Lin as though at a stranger. In that moment, he realized one thing. From beginning to end, everything had only just begun. If the 11th drumbeat had been no different from the previous 10, the golden-armored man would not have lost his composure. But that drumbeat transmitting intent was a realm he could never reach. It had nothing to do with cultivation level. It was Tao intent, a sublimation of the soul. If I strike 15 times, you'll sever your own arm. Wang Lin's voice was soft, yet it rang clearly in everyone's ears. The golden-armored man's scalp tingled. He would rather fight Wang Lin to the death than meet his gaze at this moment. Wang Lin did not wait for an answer. His eyes swept across the stands, deputy marshals, heavenly marshals, monster generals. Some avoided his gaze, others trembled. Only Heavenly Marshal Xuan looked back calmly and clasped his hands in salute. Wang Lin nodded. When his gaze met that of the Heavenly Marshal, the latter spoke for the first time. Wang Lin, I will remember this name. Wang Lin closed his eyes, placing his hand upon the war monster drum. At this moment, he no longer wished to strike it. He stood at the threshold of ascendant. I must reach ascendant. 2 drumbeats suddenly rang out like thunder. Boom, boom. Not enough. 3 more drumbeats exploded in rapid succession. The 12th, 13th, and 14th. Sorrowful sound waves fused into a raging current that surged directly into Wang Lin's body. Black sweat poured forth as his body was crushed and reforged. This is true marrow cleansing. The Heavenly Marshal's eyes shone brilliantly. These 3 drumbeats did not cleanse the body. They cleansed the Tao. Wang Lin opened his eyes. He now understood everything. 700 years of cultivation, his Tao intent was complete. Yet his Tao heart was lacking. What it lacked was a single trace of sorrow. Li Muwan. That pain was both obsession and shackles. One more strike merge all sorrow into the drumbeat, and his Tao heart would be complete. ascendant would be within reach. But the price was forgetting everything he had suffered, loved and lived for. Wang Lin's hand trembled slightly. A cold wind swept past, lifting his hair. The heavenly marshal watched him, whispering as though recalling his own past. Will he dare to strike? Ascendant was absolute solitude. No attachments, no bonds. Xilin sneered softly. Can you truly discard everything? Shishio snorted coldly. Pretentious nonsense. Yet for the first time, Chen Dao felt that those words were unbearably grating. At the center of the 10,000 Jiang Plaza, Wang Lin stood silently before the war monster drum. One more step would be ascendant. But that step could ensure that he would never look back again in this lifetime. Chen Dao remained silent for a long while before speaking quietly. You do not understand what he is struggling with, just as mortals can never understand the heart of an immortal. Xiao fell silent. Mo Fei looked at Wang Lin, his gaze growing colder. You and him back then were both the kind of people others looked up to. At this moment, Wang Lin stood before the war monster drum, his hand hovering an inch above its surface. My Dao heart is complete. I only need to erase this sorrow, but is it worth it? Li Mu Wan's figure appeared before his eyes, gentle yet unbearably painful. If reaching ascendant requires erasing her, then what is my Dao? If I strike, will she become nothing more than a cultivation furnace? Light flared in Wang Lin's eyes. My Dao is defiance. I will keep what lies in my heart. Even the heavenly Dao will not take it from me. He raised his head toward the heavens. An aura not powerful yet razor-sharp to the extreme erupted from his body like countless swords tearing through the clouds. Heaven and earth blazed with light. The heavenly marshal's expression changed. To think, he chose the same path as the monster emperor of old. The golden-armored man's face turned ghastly pale as killing intent exploded in his eyes. He must not be allowed to strike the 15th beat. He charged forward like a meteor, his right hand blazing as though grasping the sun, killing intent scorching the ground. The heavenly marshal leapt forward, shouting, Golden Crow Shu, how dare you? But Golden Crow Shu did not turn back. He intended to kill Wang Lin before that hand could fall. At that very moment, from a boat on the river, a young man suddenly stood up, his voice echoing across heaven and earth. Impudent Golden Crow, Shu, are you courting death? Golden Crow Shu's killing intent instantly collapsed. The flames spanning 100 Jiang extinguished at once. Trembling, he cried out in disbelief. That voice? Far away on an ancient battlefield within a black tower, dark light erupted. A cold snort pierced through the void. Golden Crow Shu's armor exploded, blood spraying from his mouth as the sun in his hand dimmed and vanished. The entire plaza fell into deathly silence, and Wang Lin, his right hand still suspended in midair, sorrow condensed, had not yet fallen upon the war monster drum.